Hey, Christopher here. In our recent design session, we looked at all the different things that can happen in the send flow, which are these boxes here and these boxes here. And I just took it one step further a little bit to really feel out the complexity of this and kind of pretty much turned these boxes here into screens. So let's go through them one by one. And the goal is not to have the final design solution, but really just lay out everything that we pretty much have to do to a somewhat decent spot. So by default, let's say, this is kind of a rough initial mock-up here. Let's say this is what our send Bitcoin screen looks like. So the minimal thing that I can do is enter an address, enter an amount, hit send, and that's it. So 3 actions here. There's a lot more I can do. I can choose somebody from my contacts instead of entering an address. If we have a contact book, I can enter an address and I can adjust the fee. I can also add multiple recipients, which is shown here. So let's say I add recipient, here's an example, then I get this little pagination. I can go back and forth between recipients. There would also have to be an option to remove them, of course. So I batch transactions basically. Then we have this menu up here where I can import the transaction info. So instead of entering it myself, I can do that. So I load PSBT from file, open URI. I don't think we need this one here, but there's also a coin selection that can happen. And so here are the fee options. And here's kind of the coin selection. So let's say I want to send 1 Bitcoin. I'm going to choose which of the received coins that I'm going to use. It's like digging through my wallet, picking out the coins that I'm going to give the cashier. So there's that. Those are just kind of different aspects. Then there's another layer on top of it based on the type of wallet that I'm using. So what we looked at so far was a single sig send. I'll just go through that real quick. So like I said, there could be an invoice on my clipboard. So I copy pasted payment information. I came into this application and says, okay, you want to import this? I detected something on your clipboard. Could do that. Or I can open a URI, which then I would paste or copy paste probably a URL. Maybe we could combine these. Maybe they're the same thing. Not quite sure. Then I have information filled out. Then I press continue. And I review I get a summary of the transaction, and then I approve and send. Okay. Alternate paths is, let's say I have an external signer. So that's why I fill out the information, but this wallet cannot actually approve it or sign it. We need some type of flow where it says, please plug in or connect whatever signer you have. Could be a hardware wallet, could be something, another application, maybe, not sure. And then you basically connect that thing, and then on this external signer, you review the transaction, you approve it, then this application gets the okay. And then, I assume there's another final approve. Somehow, this flow needs to be sorted out here. Then we have a multi-sig wallet. So it could already tell you here that transactions require signing by 2 of the 3 keys in this wallet. And then at the bottom it says approvals or signatures, 0 of 2. So you put in the information, and then it says share transaction for signing. Like I said, nothing here is final. And then it lets me, I don't know, download a file probably, and then I send this file to somebody else, and then this other person goes in and does import transaction. So they load this file in, and then they have to sign it, and then it can be sent off, final review, and off to the blockchain for confirmation. And there's the alternative thing here is, that's already in here. So I either create one or I import one. And once I've imported it, I may be the last person to sign this, and then I can just broadcast it, or I may need to send it on to another person even, because it needs more signatures. And then while this happens, there's kind of a question also, where does this transaction live? So if I create this transaction and I'm waiting for other people to approve it, is it exist somewhere in the UI? Is there like in the activity screen, is there like a transaction waiting for signatures? We can't know the state of that because it's not broadcast anywhere. But that's a detail there. Okay, and then there's a view-only wallet. So a view-only wallet can be all different types of wallet types, I believe. And by default, you cannot send. It's a view-only wallet. But we could potentially allow users to convert it to a sendable wallet. And that's where I would have to import a private key or private keys that match this, or connect an external signer that matches the XPub or whatever was used to set up this wallet. So here I just put in, like, this is my first thought, could be external signer or private key. There might be other options here, and then you would have these different flows, which might be flows that we can take from the wallet creation flow potentially. And then after this is done and this wallet is converted from view only to read write, I guess, and then it has to switch over to whatever wallet flow is appropriate for the type, and then, you know, final review and sending it off. And then there are a couple other options. I think the C parent, the cancel and speed up transaction options, CPFP, and the other one that I can't think of right now. So that's kind of, there's a lot of detail in all of these different, across all of these different states that we have to sort out. So it's going to be a really good puzzle, and ideally, like I mentioned before, ideally we can really flesh this out in a lot of detail. You know, like for every element that we have, you know, very, very detailed visualizations of all the different states and descriptions of them, and that way we can all agree on what this experience will look like. We can plan it out perfectly. We have good design documentation, and the implementation will really, the code is just a reflection of what we together as a group decided on things will look like and how they will work. So that's it for now. Hopefully that was kind of helpful for me. It was definitely a good exercise to start visualizing this stuff out. And if roughly everything looks good, then we can kind of see what all the holes are, and then we can slowly start shaping this experience. But that's it. Thanks.